Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be filming a plant rescue video. It's gonna be a little bit random. I've never done one of these before, but I went to Lowe's yesterday and they had a Hoya curtitzii there and it was in really bad shape and I left it. And then I woke up this morning thinking about it and I was like, you know what, just go back because they had a domino peace lily that I also wanted. So I was gonna go back anyways. But I was like, you should just ask for a discount. You never know. I've never done that before. And this time I decided, you know, I don't want that little Hoya curtitzii to end up in the garbage. So I went back, got it, asked for a discount, and decided to make this video. As you can see, it's in very poor shape. This thing weighs about 25 pounds. Seriously, I'm not exaggerating. It is so overwatered. When I tried to get it down off of the shelf at Lowe's, water was just dumping out of the bottom reservoir there, and it still is kind of. So it needs some help, definitely some TLC. So I need to set that down because it's very, very heavy, but I'll give you guys a close-up of what it looks like. But I just wanted to let you guys know I did ask for a discount and they gave me 50% off, which I hesitated on because it still made it $10. Originally it was $20. And I was like, oh, is it gonna be worth it? So I looked at it a little bit closer and it's definitely very rotted. I will show you guys how like squishy the top bits are. But upon looking at it, there is a lot that I can save and propagate, which is what I'm going to do. I do already have a Hoya curtitzii that I've had for a couple of years now. We have been through the ringer together, but we finally understand each other now. So I thought I would propagate this Hoya and then just share it with people. Just a fun little project, a video for you guys. Honestly, I just want to show you guys that you can save plants from the big box stores. It is possible. I want to show you how to not get discouraged or I don't know. I just want to show you that it's possible to save a plant if you see it and you want to give it a new life, because these plants do just end up in the garbage, and that's a little bit sad because they don't know how to take care of them at the big box stores always. So I have saved a couple of Hoya in the past. None of them have been this bad. This is definitely the worst one, and I've never asked for a discount before. So this is the first time I've asked for a discount and just decided to go for it just so I could make some content for you guys and share a plant with some friends. So I'm gonna show you guys what this plant looks like. We're gonna dive into it and we're going to do our best to save it. So stick around. All right, guys, so I'm going to do this in my kitchen because it is hot outside again, unfortunately. And Mako is here to say hello. Say hello, Papa. But here is our Hoya. It is so heavy. Like, getting into this is going to be interesting. So I just want to show you an up close version, and then I got my tripod here to show you guys, and ignore the potting soil. I was repotting other plants. But so we have a lot of crispy leaves here, but when you get into the thick of it right here, this is all just rotted mush. It's really disgusting. So I think my only course of action here is going to be eating all of the nice vines the best I can and trying to save those. So the good thing about Hoya curtitzii, I think that these are more of definitely a vining plant and not so much one that needs to be trellised. And you can just lay them kind of like a string of turtles or some string of pearls, a string of anything, and just in the soil. Because if you look here, they have the roots. So what I'm gonna do is I have these little containers I got off Amazon. They're super flimsy. I'm just gonna fill them with soil and I'm gonna try to root them right into soil. I'm gonna put them in one of my greenhouse cabinets and hope for the best. I am just gonna share these with friends if they all survive because I do have one of my own, but I wanted to show you guys up close what we're dealing with. This is pretty bad, honestly. But if I'm able to get a few plants out of it, I will be very happy and it would have been worth it. I just couldn't possibly see myself leaving it there. Like, look at this. This is all dead. Every bit of this is dead. They watered it to death, literally. So yeah, I am going to take it out of the pot just so we can see what the roots look like, because I want you guys to like get the full picture of how they treat these plants at the big box stores. But there are still some good vines in here that I think we're gonna be able to save. Just, we are gonna lose a ton, and I guarantee you that this thing is rotted. Look at all these leaves that just fell off just from touching it like that. So I'm going to get my tripod set up and everything, and we'll get into it. All right, so I've never done a repotting video or anything like that, so I hope this angle is okay. Dog food, bedroom, plants. It's a little bit chaotic, but we're just saving a plant here. So I have a cardboard box here because I don't want to get it all over my floor. I have to keep reiterating how freaking heavy this thing is. The first thing I'm gonna do is take off the hanging basket part of this. I always have the hardest time getting these off. And I am going to reuse this pot. I do need to repot my Silvery Ann Scindapsus, so that was part of the reason why I was like, okay, I will use the pot. I think I can save the plant, so yeah. Now, it might be smarter to go ahead and cut everything good off, but I'm not going to do that. I am just going to try to get it out of this pot and see what we're working with. Maybe it's not rotted, and maybe, oh, that came out really easy. Okay, so, oh my gosh, like, I feel like I'm gonna be able to squeeze this. Do you see all the water coming out? I'm barely even squeezing. This thing is so wet. Oh my gosh. Now, I will say, the roots look good, but it is so mushy and so wet. This is disgusting. I feel like there's a possibility that I could save the roots. Now, okay. That's disgusting. I'm not gonna squeeze anymore. I just wanted to prove my point that this is extremely wet. So we're not going to fiddle with any of that. It's not worth it. So all I'm going to do is wash my hands now because ew. And we're gonna start cutting off all of the good stuff. And just in here, there's just like water. Why, Lowe's? Why? Why did you torture this poor plant? All right, so I got my scissors here. I didn't wash them off. You should probably wash your scissors off. I never do, and that's a me problem. Don't make it a you problem as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in and I'm just gonna start chopping the plant up. Let's see if I can get you. That didn't work. So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna start chopping off anything that looks green still. Anything that's dead, you know, you can chop it off and just throw it away, but anything that looks salvageable. So I'm gonna cut off a part here just to give you guys an example of how much of this stem I'll be able to save. So if you look here, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to tell, but part of the stem looks okay and part of it doesn't. So it's already starting to go bad here. You can just tell by the difference in the green color, hopefully. Sorry, this is not what I'm used to filming like, but hopefully you can tell it's like really light green here and dark green there. So I'm going to chop probably most of this off. So let's see here. I'm going to chop it all the way to here. And I think that'll be good. Okay, so this definitely has some good sap coming out of it. If you get white sap, that is a good sign that your plant is healthy. So if you cut it and you don't get any white sap, you need to keep cutting until you can see white sap. White sap is a good indicator that your plant is still healthy in that area. So yeah, and these leaves, I want to mention, these leaves aren't as thick as a curtizii leaf normally is. I can bend it all the way. So we definitely need to get this thing rooting and saved, but there is white sap, so that's a good start. And I'm just gonna keep cutting. This is actually pretty enjoyable for me. I love chopping plants, but I hate chopping my own plants. So I think getting to do this is going to be very satisfying for me. And I'm gonna do it to the entire freaking plant. And so this vine has good looking leaves that can be saved and bad looking leaves. So I'm cutting off anything bad looking and we're just keeping the good stuff. You do want to be careful when cutting the leaves or cutting the vines when you get the sap. The sap is very sticky and it will get all over everything. So wear clothes that you're okay with getting Hoya sap on that you may not be able to get out. And then it's good to have like a paper towel or a surface you don't care about. I'm just laying mine on top of my soil bin so sap doesn't get on anything I care about, like my floor or my table or whatever surface you're working on. That is just a tip about that. And I'm just gonna keep chopping away. So that's a pretty good one. That is a nice little section. And some of these leaves actually feel a little bit thicker than the other ones, so that's good. So I'm just gonna continue away chopping up this Hoya. I don't wanna like film the whole thing because that would take forever, but I'll come back and show you what we're left with and what we've got cut out, and then we will pot them up together and see what we have. Okay, this is what we have left of the mother plant. Anything that still had like thick leaves that's left, they were all yellow, so I didn't bother. And everything else is a dried up, slushy mess. And this is everything that I was able to cut off. So I wouldn't say it was exactly half of the plant, but it was a good amount that I was able to save. So I'm very happy. I don't expect all of these to live. Unfortunately, I am expecting to hopefully get at least half of these to survive, which would be great if all of them live. That would be even better, but it came from this very unhappy plant. So I did take off anything that looked remotely dead because I didn't want that to carry through the rest of the vine and then, you know, contaminate it and kill it. So the best rate of survival would come if you chop everything that looks possibly dead off, including leaves that are starting to look yellowy. Some of them look a little yellow, but I think that's just the coloring of them because they had some that looked like this. So we're hoping for the best. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get some pots ready with soil, and then I'm going to just plop these on top of it. I have not decided if I want to put them in my greenhouse cabinet that's in my bathroom. The humidity isn't as high, or if I want to try to clear out a container that I store stuff in and put them in there because the humidity would be higher. I think that might be the way to go just to get these rooting as quickly as possible so I don't have to keep them in my house for like too long. And if I do it that way, I won't have to water them more than like the one time, which I always love. And I think that it would get the roots really growing into the soil as quickly as possible. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I have a bin that I keep in my plant shelf that just has random plant things in it, and it's not very full. So I think I'm going to just clear that out, and I'm going to go ahead and just put the little containers in there, put the Hoya on top of the soil, and just see what happens. Again, these Hoya are like, you can just lay them flat onto soil and they should root in. You don't need to just like put the end into soil. You can lay the whole thing on there as if it were like a string of pearls or a string of hearts, like I said. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do right now, is go clean out that container, and then I'll fill up all of my little pots with soil, and then we will come back and we will lay some Hoya on the soil and see what happens. I also wanted to mention that the longer I sat here cutting all of those vines off, the more the soil started to smell like rotting, decaying plant. So I am very happy to get this thrown away and to forget about it from here on out. If this is successful, I'm going to be addicted to saving dying plants, which could be a problem, but also could be very fun. I do eventually, I think, want to like get a system going where I can maybe do more plant purges and sell plants, but I've never really sold plants before. So if I have a lot, I'm definitely going to give some to my friends first that are into plants, and then if I have some left over, maybe I'll put them to the side and I can do like a little plant sell. Not here, it'd probably just be on Facebook with my local community, but yeah, maybe in the future I would consider shipping plants, but I just want to keep things pretty low key. So I just want to add that in here. All right, we're back at the weird angle. So like I said, I have these little things that I got from Amazon. They're flimsy. They're all right. I've used them a bunch, but I don't know that I've repurchased, but they were very affordable and you get a lot. So they're gonna be perfect for this project. Once you get soil in them, they're like fine, but yeah, I'm just going to put some in here and go ahead and fill them with soil. You could even like double these up and they'd be a little bit more thick, but I'm just going to do a single one because I'm trying to get my money's worth out of these. This has some plastic in it. All right, so I'm gonna just start with 6 for now. This was the bin that I had stuff stored in. I was able to clear it out, and I don't have a whole lot of soil, but this is just some random soil that I got from my local garden center mixed with some bark and perlite. And yeah, I'm not a soil snob whatsoever. I will say that right off the bat. I just use what's cheap. I'm going to fill them pretty much all the way up, like so. And we'll just stick them back in the container. These do have drainage holes in them, so that is perfect. They are a little, I think they're actually a good size. I thought I wanted smaller containers and I was gonna go get some like little Dixie cups and put holes in them, but I actually think that these are a really good size because the cuttings are a bit bigger than I expected them to be. So I think we're gonna be good. So that's what one looks like. And so far I've only done 6. I do think I will need more. I am running low on soil. I should have bought some while I was at the store, but didn't even think about it. So I'm probably gonna have to go get more soil again this weekend. But we're gonna start with these. And I'm actually going to give the soil a light watering first. So 1 second. I'm going to go crazy because the soil is like a little bit damp. You know when you buy soil and it feels a little bit wet? I am going to just give it a little watering for humidity purposes of the container and because I want these to root. So we're going to water them right in here. Okay, so there we go. I didn't go crazy. Like they didn't even drain through even. So you really just want the surface to be wet so the roots will look for the water. So we're gonna put those like that. And I have my Hoya here. So I'm just going to start taking pieces of them and sticking them right in the soil, just kind of wrapping them up. If you find that you're having an issue like curling them up like this, then you could cut them into smaller pieces, kind of like the butterfly way of doing it. But I'm just gonna lay them right in the best I can. They will sort themselves out, okay? So don't be like too stressed about it. They are gonna look weird and ugly at first, but eventually they will sort themselves out. So I'm just gonna do that for all of the cups. I'm probably gonna have to make more cups. Some of these are fairly large, so I might try a different system on those, but I might actually have to cut the larger ones up. We will see. We're gonna put those to the side. Now, by putting them in a humidity box, you're going to force like the aerial roots to grow. And if you put them into soil like this, you're gonna force them to grow into the soil. Well, not force them, but they're more likely going to grow into the soil. So I think that this should be fine. I am not a professional. This is just the system that I'm using based on the knowledge that I have of the Hoyas I've grown. This is not like a scientific thing, I don't think. So do this at your own risk. I will show you guys a few weeks from now how these are doing. So if they turn out good, then maybe you can try this technique. If they turn out bad, don't try this technique. So that's my advice on what I'm doing here. You could definitely cut these up more and, you know, get more potential growth points, but I am just gonna wing it and hope for the best. Again, these are going to be for friends, and then if they root some, I'll be happy with that, and my friends can do whatever they want with them, but I am just trying to do it as easy for me as possible. This is what one looks like so far. I'm going to just do this for all of them, and I will come back to you guys and show you how many I ended up getting. I am definitely going to have a lot. I think I might run out of soil, so we will see what happens. All right, guys, so I have 14 plants in the bin. I hope that at least half of them survive. I am not super well versed in Curtitzii. Me and mine have went on a journey, but it is happy now. So hopefully this technique will work just fine. I'm hoping that the high humidity will just have them root into the soil and not rot. So we will see. I do have these larger cuttings over here that I'm going to just put in water, and hopefully these will live as well. I might even just pop one into my pot of curtitia as well. We'll see. There's 3 here that are larger and then 14 of these. So I am going to go ahead and get the lid on them. I'm going to put them over here on my shelf, and this is all the soil I have left, by the way. I'm going to take all these large chunks out. I got the wrong what is this called? Orchid bark, and it's huge. So I'm gonna take those out, and then I'll have to get more soil, but this is what I ended up with. Let's get a little close up for y'all. So you could pin these down as well. I'm not going to. I'm going to really rely heavily on the humidity factor for this project. And if these don't survive, so be it. It was fun to experiment with it and make this video for you guys. This is really just a video to show you guys that you can possibly save a plant from Lowe's. If nothing else, you can ask for a discount and play around with a plant, which is what I'm doing. Hopefully some of these survive and I have some nice gifts to give out. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these in some water, get these on the shelf, and I'm gonna clean everything up, and then I will come back to you in a couple of weeks and show you where we're at with everything. We might do a little check-in here and there, but that is all I have to say at this time. Hey guys, so it's been a week. So I wanted to show you the update of what's going on in the prop box. I do have some in water as well that are doing about the same as these. They're not in any sort of prop box or anything. But as you can see, some of them are getting a little mushy. I'm gonna clean them up, anything that has like anything mushy on it. But most of them are doing quite well. So I'm happy about that. I don't think anything has like really rooted. You can see some aerial roots that I'm hoping are looking for the soil. And that's about all I had to say, but I wanted to do this quick little update. Like I said, it's only been a week. They've been living in this prop box the whole time, and I haven't really opened it or looked at it or anything. So this is really just what's been happening. I am gonna have to go in here, like I said, and clean some of these things up just to make sure nothing spreads. But overall, I think we're gonna have some successful plants, but I don't know that all of them will be successful. But that's our little update. All right, guys, my dog just started eating, so you're gonna hear him munching, but it has been just over 3 weeks since we brought the curtitii home, and this is going to be the final update because I am very happy with the progress we've made. So this is what everything looks like up close. You may see some little bitty roots sticking out. They've lived in this container the whole time. I moved it back and forth from my plant shelf to this table because I get direct sunlight here and it like warms everything up, which is really nice. I have been eating breakfast with the lid off of this and just kind of like looking at them. But everything looks really good in this. Obviously there are a couple of hearts that we're gonna lose here. I mean, they're not hearts, but they remind me of a string of hearts, so whatever. This one is the only one that is a little questionable. However, when I tug on it, like if I tug on it, it is in there. So it definitely rooted in. Let's see if you can see any roots on this one. There's a little root there, a root trying to find the soil there. So I'm not going to do anything about it. I mean, it doesn't look great on that part of the stem, but everything else looks good. We're just gonna leave it. And then let's look at this one because I pulled this one out to check and it had some good roots. Look at that, everything is starting to root. So what I'm going to do is just leave them all in this box for a little bit longer until I figure out what I'm doing with them. And I have to say, like, they are so much thicker, like the little hearts themselves, the leaves, if you will, I guess that's what they're called. The leaves are definitely perked up a little bit and we have some good roots going. So I am very pleased that all of these seem to want to live. So that's awesome. I don't see any new growth just yet on any of them. I did like look at them all pretty closely. I don't see any new growth, but that's okay. I'm gonna let them live in here a little bit longer. The ones I had in water, I took out of water because they weren't doing well. I cut off the parts that were getting mushy in the water and I decided to put them in stratum. So I have this one in stratum and then the one down here in stratum. So those are gonna live in stratum until they root. I think they're definitely going to root a lot better in stratum. I think I've given up on water propagations for Hoya. I haven't had luck a lot lately with that. I prefer to just root right in the substrate that I'm going to put them in, or stratum. So that's my recommendation if you're doing like a rescue project like this. Pot them up like I did, right into the soil. If you're using soil, if you like soil, and then just put them in a container and leave them alone. That's exactly what I did. I haven't watered them one time. I haven't done anything. I've only checked on them one other time, and that was when I filmed the last update. And everything seems to be going really well. So I think that this was a success and something I definitely want to do again in the future if I find another sad plant that I really like, especially a Hoya, at like a big box store. And if I were going to sell these, I could sell them for like $3 to $5 each. You could probably do a little bit more than that if you want it, but I try to keep my prices low when I sell plants just so everybody has the accessibility option for them. I just want to share the love, and that would definitely be a profit off of what I paid for the Hoya. If you guys remember, I paid $9.99 for the Hoya. I lost about half of it, but I think every single little cup of Hoya curtitii that I made is going to survive. The only ones I question are the ones that still haven't rooted, but they're in my cabinet, they're in stratum, and I think they're gonna be fine. And once they do root up, I am going to pot them together, I think, and make like a little bit bigger of a plant. But this was a lot of fun, a great experiment, and I want to do more. I think I'm going to take these to the plant swap that's coming up this fall, so they have plenty of time. That's not until November, so they have plenty of time to keep rooting and everything. So hopefully they'll be growing by then. And whatever I don't swap or get rid of there, I may potentially try to sell or just give away to my friends. My only other plant friend already has one, so I don't know that she wants another one, but that is what I'm thinking. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching and you want to see me rescue more plants, leave a comment down below. I definitely want to, and I definitely will if you guys want to see it. And subscribe to my channel for more random content. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!